welcome back to Open, everyone. You know we're always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us at BronxNetTV, and while you're there, tweet me too, at Rhina Valentin. As we continue honoring women, our next guest is a mixed media and visual artist from the Bronx. She's an FIT alum, and her work explores the ideas of body image, beauty, cultural identity, and the representations of women. Her work evokes creativity and ranges from printmaking, painting, illustration, collages, and graphic design. Joining us to tell us more, we welcome Vanezza Cruz.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me here today.
I cannot actually say, I haven't said it to the other ladies, but happy Women's History Month.
Oh, thank you. Happy Women's History Month as well.
Yeah, just for the sake of acknowledging our contribution right now in this moment.
Absolutely.
And the healing that you're serving or providing in serving through your arts, right? So let's talk about how and the styles of art that you've chosen to just learn and really expand on. Because they're really extreme, right? Graphics, from printmaking.
Right, doing something that I consider like analog, which is like a lot of like handwork and things with the hand, like drawing and printmaking and doing collages, and also graphic design, which is like doing a computer and having a connection with the art, but separating, but still connected because you're using a tool to create these visual landscapes that I do. So,
right, and so for you as the artist, you just said you're using your hands. Like, so how does using your hands serve you versus working on the computer serve you?
I feel like I'm using two different parts of my brain and who I am as an artist. When I work with my hands, there's a certain sense of it being so personal because I'm getting in there, my hands are getting dirty with the ink, or I'm cutting the paper up, or I'm putting a book together. So there's a certain sense of it being so much more personal because of the physical labor that's being put into it. But there's also physical labor when I'm doing something in graphic design. I'm using more of my mind. I'm visualizing what the end result may be, and I'm thinking about all these different elements visually that I can put together where it's different from actually like a drawing and, you know, having these other elements that I put into my work. So it does take a really different mindset when I'm doing both, but it's still more, it always comes from that reservoir of creativity within me.
And so the women theme, is that your primary inspiration?
It always has been. When it comes to when I put women in my work, it's always me. It's always some sense of myself. It's always a way of me trying to wrestle with questions of me being Afro-Latina, of this normative visual, storyline that's been put onto women of what femininity is. And when you look at women in print and print advertising, which is where I first started doing artwork with collages, I didn't really see myself. So I was trying to create women that represented me. And I was always trying to wrestle with is this what I am ascribed to be as a woman? And if this is what I'm ascribed to be as a woman of color, where there really isn't a lot of me out there. So me, when I create my work, it's just me trying to explore all of my entire life of what that means of being a woman, being Afro-Latina, and working with society and the narrative that is just imposed upon our bodies. We're seen as a series of parts sometimes, and that angers me. So
oh my gosh, you're really, I hear you, and we're looking at it right now. And what I love about what you're saying and the work that you do produce is that it comes with a lot of color.
Yes.
A lot of color.
Yes.
And even shadows.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I've always was told throughout my whole entire, going to school from the age of 14, doing art to now, that I was never afraid of color. And I usually use a lot of pinks and blues to just try and play on the whole societal view of like men and women, the dichotomy between men and women, and just hues of blues and pinks. So just to show like, like innocence, or even to show like maturity, and just trying to play with that idea of, like I said earlier, femininity.
And so you just got emotional for a moment
I did.
there?
My work is very personal to me, and I feel like with a lot of artists, what we do, it comes from this deep place within ourselves of trying to answer questions or trying to find something within ourselves, and whether the work be thematic or whether it be just project-based. So I feel like whatever we do, it is personal. So that's where that came from. Yeah.
No, and thank you. And thank you for being vulnerable enough to just share it. Because right now we're going through a stage where we have to reevaluate what truly matters in our existence.
Absolutely.
And also, just based on what you shared with using your hands, like, what does this current state serve you? How does it serve you, or how does it affect you in the style of work that you like to do using your hands?
You know, oddly enough, and not to diminish what is going on, for some reason it's not in the forefront of my mind. Even me working with my hands, I don't really, I don't really see how me working with my hands as an artist really is affecting what's going on with the coronavirus. I only see it as in terms of like me being cautious with other people. I just think it's kind of weird in a way how like our hands, the whole washing hand situation. That's what we do.
That's what I'm saying, because it does
Yes.
something to your psyche,
It really
right?
does, and then even
Psychologically, it's
touching
like, oh my
things.
gosh, now I don't want to touch this.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to use my hands. Now I'm going to make sure that it's clean. Oh,
Yes.
my hands were on this. It becomes like this whole oversensitizing.
Right, and I'm even thinking about the fact of like, since my hands have been so much on this could be like a hotbed of bacteria. But but I just feel that that's just what's going on with everyone being on such high alert.
Right.
Yes. So, you know, I'm not gonna stop working with my hands, of course.
I was just curious.
You
I just
know?
wanted to ask,
Yeah.
and then based on the fact that I think that right now we're all looking to heal
Yes.
and calm ourselves down. What would you recommend to someone who may consider doing this style of artistry?
I feel that, well, what I would recommend and what I would say is just to have the person completely be immersed in what they're doing, to be completely focused on their work as a form of therapy, as a form of catharsis. I feel like we're being so inundated with so many different things and every single person is going to take that in and react to it in whatever way that it affects them. But if they're able to do something with their hands, just take that time and connect with it.
And so,
As a form of healing,
as an
yes.
artist, how do you disconnect from that reality, right? Because that's the
Yeah.
part. It's kind of like, okay, you know what? It's almost like a sense of meditation,
Yes.
it's challenging to kind of shut it off when it's still being drilled in your head, especially at this particular time. And I'm just looking for ways to assist our viewers who may be watching, who may be artists, in just releasing whatever it is that it's creating anxiety.
Yeah, I feel like you may have to turn off the television, get off of social media for a while, just so that you're not invading that mental space with what's going on. You know, honestly, do things that make you happy. Look at things visually that make you happy or inspire you. And I've been doing that lately, you know, not only with what's going on with the coronavirus, but just so that I can always keep up with my own practice. You know, artist block is real, and that happens all the time. So that's what that's what I recommend to people, to try and find those pockets of things, of life, of people, situations that provide some levity with what's going on. And, you know, I feel like when it comes to the arts, there's so many things, so many different avenues where you could find that.
And it's good that you said that, because, unfortunately, the museums are closing now as well.
Yes.
And your website happens to be a really great,
thank
visually
you.
stimulating tour. And so is your artwork for sale?
Yes, different pieces of art are for sale. You know, it all depends on what the person is looking for. I also do work where if they want me to do a print that is a little bit more closely related to what they would like, I work with people with that as well.
Yeah, and you're
But
also
yes.
an artist for hire.
Yes, I am as well. I'm a freelance graphic designer. I do murals as well, and I also have my own separate creative practice.
Yeah, but right now we're empowering the women.
Yes.
Specifically the
let me see if I
women
can
of
reach over
color.
here. Boom.
Boom. That's good enough. It's good enough for me. And again, just going back to the fact that we are transferring into a digitized world, Vanezza Cruz's website is really fun and really, really stimulating visually, colorfully, and healing at the same time. So for more on Vanezza Cruz and her work, be sure to visit. This is an interesting website name, though, I gotta say. Dubious Contessa. Dubious Contessa?
Yes.
DubiousContessa.com. And on Instagram, she's Vanezza_Cruz. Okay, so don't go anywhere, because Bobby C is a weekly sports roundup is coming up next.